What is happening, Internet? K-Wing here, and today we're talking about a very interesting topic. Twitter walling out over the idea of Ben Affleck being the DC shared universe Batman because of, well, you'll have to wait till right after this. Oh boy, where do we begin? First off, I just want a lot of these Twitter weirdos to know, even if the platform is supposedly dying and going to disappear, that still means you have to adhere to NDA stuff. So if you know things that you shouldn't be sharing because you don't like a certain actor reprising his role, you probably shouldn't be talking about it on a public platform. I'm just saying. I'm not, going to show who these people are because, I don't want to be responsible for them getting in trouble. Warner's legal department probably knows who it is, so they don't need me to help be a little detective for them. But I saw some pretty interesting things over the past 48 hours, and it made me a pretty happy camper, I'm not going to lie. Aside from, seeing Twitter burn to the ground, it's kind of funny to me because for so long, Twitter was a website that would silence their political opposition. It was a echo chamber for the left. It allowed companies to attack their fan bases and their consumers. It was just a nightmare for so long. It was kind of fun to see it become like a free speech platform like it originated. But also it went too far to the right in that regards, and, well, it became a big mess. It would have been nice if it had a happy medium, and maybe it still could. I don't know. But I've only used it to advertise. I've never really liked Twitter all that much, especially when I got in trouble by Twitter and had my account almost terminated. I was suspended for about a week because I told a hater to go play in traffic. And, of course, we know Twitter security force or whatever, they're very sensitive children, so, they took that as like a horrible thing to say. And I was gone. So you couldn't joke, you couldn't do anything. And I thought it was really stupid. So that's my story. But anyway, these people are spouting some pretty crazy things that coincides with things that we've already heard from James Gunn, having a more concise universe that would be connected in films, TV, video games, animation, and even comics, which would actually be a great thing if that would happen for the comic books, because DC Comics has been crazy with randos off the street changing established characters and doing whatever they want on a whim. If they had to adhere to a certain strict guideline, then they couldn't really do brand damaging stuff anymore. But at the same time, as much as I would love that to be for the comic books, and it'd be easy for people to come in and start reading Batman and Superman stories if they had a familiarity to it as it connected to the movies and TV shows, I wouldn't like that same policy to happen with the video games and animation, because I believe those should be separate, because video games, you could have a shared universe as well as Elseworld stories. Just like in the animation, we get Elseworld stories all the time, like Gotham by Gaslight, The Long Halloween, and then you got the Man of Tomorrow universe from the, Man of Tomorrow Superman movie, and then the Green Lantern film that just released, which is starting to build up their own, shared universe that way. So that's cool. So I don't want that all to be gone just to follow James Gunn's strict, storyline thing that he's charting out for the next, 4 to 8 years, because that's what the MCU does. The MCU doesn't allow any creativity. You have to adhere to whatever they say, introduce whatever characters they say, and tease whatever future projects are in development. Which is something Sam Raimi learned when he came back and he did the Doctor Strange 2 movie, is he wanted to do certain things and have certain characters cameo and other things, and they said no, because we need you to basically do what we tell you, direct our movie, use your, director cinematography thing that you're known for, and do what we tell you. And Sam didn't like that. And other Marvel directors who are no longer at Marvel have said the same thing, that Marvel's very strict with that. And since James Gunn is basically a Marvel director, he's kind of doing that same vision because he's so used to it. But, in a sense, I could see why he would do that, because it works for Marvel. But what works for Marvel isn't necessarily going to work for DC. But that's besides the point. Let's talk about the whole Ben Affleck thing now. So as you know, David Zaslav talked a little while ago how he doesn't want Four Batmen in media. And then James Gunn followed up with that a little while ago, saying how he wants everything to be one universe. And then when Zaslav did his meeting saying that he is very excited about the DC Bible that James Gunn and Peter are putting together, Then he chimed in and he talked about Batman, how there's an over-reliance on Batman. We reported on this stuff already, but he was very clear in saying that there will not be four Batmen. So what does this mean? Do we have any clarity on this? Yes and no. So, like I said, the Titan show is probably ending after this year because you don't want to have that Batman show up anymore. And if they really are being very strict with TV and movies going forward, then it would make sense that the Titan show either gets the yeet or somehow gets connected to the greater DC universe. Because the multiverse is going to be an afterthought, supposedly. So Ian's Batman would be gone. Michael Keaton is 70 years old. He's appearing in The Flash. He's very good in The Flash from what I hear. And the Batgirl movie was canceled, so there's no reason for Keaton to be Batman after The Flash. Henry Cavill came back as Superman and has a bright future as Superman, and DC is putting all their chips on Superman. So you can expect to see a lot of Henry Cavill's Superman. And if you're a big Superman fan, cool. The number 2 superhero of DC Comics is going to be very well loved over the next probably 10 years, which is great. Great for you. But what about Batman? What is going on with that? Well, Matt Reeves has his universe, and he's not going to join the DC shared one anytime soon because he doesn't want to play in that sandbox. He wants to play in his own sandbox and do whatever he wants creative-wise because that was in his contract. That is what he agreed to, and that is the storyline that he is orchestrating from the Batman 2 into the Penguin show and whatever else he decides to do in subsequent sequels. So James Gunn can't really mess with that. And hopefully neither can David Zaslav, because eventually the Batman is going to be a very profitable brand going forward because it is the new, Batman brand. And it works well not being connected to a shared universe. I'm just going to say that. And there's a lot of fun Easter eggs that will tie into future Batman films, like Batman using Venom, which would probably tie into a Bane movie. Batman doing some stuff with the Penguin and the Penguin becoming this big mob boss later on. All this stuff is going to branch out and be very exciting. And the Batman is going to be, the focal point for this universe. And that's great. Leave it alone. As for the shared universe, we currently do not have a Batman. Or do we? So Twitter, in their infinite wisdom and all this other stuff, and apparently not being afraid of Warner Brothers legal ninjas, is saying how they are very upset that Ben Affleck is going to continue playing the role, and they can say whatever they want because Twitter's going to be gone soon. Now, what are they talking about? As you know, Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman in The Flash. He's in the movie for about 15 to 20 minutes, very similar to the animated film, Flashpoint Paradox, where Batman starts the movie and then comes back at the end of the movie as a different-looking Batman, but it was still voiced by Kevin Conroy, R.I.P. He looked older in the beginning, like pre-52 Batman, and then in the new 52, he looked younger, and more armored, but it was still the same actor playing the role, so that the multiverse didn't get all messed up or whatever. So some people are saying that in The Flash, the movie kind of starts out like that, and then Batman has like a different-looking costume that would show up in the Aquaman movie later. Or Batman is lost in time. We don't really know. But Ben Affleck is going to show up in The Lost Kingdom. As I reported on a couple months ago, Ben Affleck was shown at the Warner Brothers lot, very smiley and happy, and the rumor was, according to a J-Lo fan site, that he had just signed an extensive contract to appear as Batman, which they were the first ones to break the story, and some people collaborated on that and said it was true. So the fact that these Twitter people are saying, well, Ben Affleck is going to be back, and I don't like him because he's toxic and blah, 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 blah. Just saying all these terrible things about Ben Affleck and saying, it's not fair that David Zaslav is really liking Ben Affleck's, Batman, because Ben Affleck is an Oscar winner. That's probably why. He probably sees like a lot of brand potential and realized that Ben Affleck's Batman wasn't utilized as well as he could have been because he's a very big star. He's a very good Batman, and he could do a lot of great things with the role if he has a good director, a good script, and a good movie. Like, that Batman could actually be catapulted to incredible heights. They just need the good team to do it. The Justice League reshoots didn't do Ben any favors, and it made him hate the role. But The Flash and Aquaman made him like the role. So I do believe there is some credibility to some of these weirdos on Twitter saying that Ben Affleck is going to be our DC Studios Batman. So then this circles back to the video that I made a little while ago, where there won't be 4 Batman. I believe there will be 2 Batmen. the shared universe Batman, the one that'll pop up and work with these superheroes and super-powered beings and crazy space adventures and whatever else they do. And then the more grounded Batman will be Matt Reeves' Batman. And I think that will work great. So maybe David, instead of confusing and scaring people, maybe he should have said, there won't be 4 Batman, there will just be 2. But it was an investors meeting. You know, they were trying to get things done. We all know that James Gunn is a big fan of Ben Affleck. He tried to have Batman appear in his Peacemaker Season 2. Warner Media actually took out both Cyborg and Batman in the Justice League cameo. So the cameo only had Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash, who were the only 2 that had roles, or rather speaking roles. But both a Batman actor, Ben Affleck, stunt double, and I believe the stunt double for Ray Fisher were in attendance for that Justice League cameo, but they were taken out of the shot because they didn't know what they were doing with Batman. Warner Media didn't. They were going to replace Batman with Batgirl. And of course, that's not happening now. And of course, Michael Keaton won't be replacing Ben Affleck most likely. So, yeah, I mean, this is nothing but good news. It could all change, you know? We don't know how long David Zaslav's going to be around, although one of the biggest opponents of David Zaslav, Twitter, may not even be around anymore over the next couple weeks. Or this could age like milk and, you know, maybe people will succeed in getting him fired. I don't think so. I think that more people are going to have things to worry about with the next group of firings at Warner Brothers around Thanksgiving. If that's still happening, I believe it is. But you know, I'm pretty excited by the prospect of Ben coming back and doing more. I don't really know what his role is going to detail in the Aquaman film, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I, you know, wish him well in the role if that's something he wants to do. If he doesn't want to do it, cool, recast him with John Hamm. That's what I would do. If you're looking for another really talented actor that could be in that same age group as Henry Cavill and Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, you know, being kind of like that older Batman, like he's the veteran of this universe. He's older than Superman. He's not older than Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's like wicked old, but you know what I mean. Like if you need to get that older actor to kind of fill the bat suit, then I think John Hamm would be a great replacement. But if not, I would say stick with Ben Affleck. Film your movies over, you know, the next 4 to 5 years, like back to back, as best you can. Especially while he's still enjoying the role and J-Lo's enjoying being with Batman. I say go for it. And hopefully, you know, we get to see some really cool brand stuff with Batman going forward. But anyway, now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the rumor that Twitter is spreading that Ben Affleck is indeed back as our film Batman? Let me know in the comment section below. Or do you think they're just spouting nonsense? I really want to hear what you guys think about this. I'm really pulling for that this is true because I think it would make the most sense, especially when you have most of the band back together already for the Trinity. Gal Gadot is coming back. Henry Cavill's coming back. And if they can get Ben Affleck back, then we might actually see some really interesting things. Because say what you will about James Gunn, he's a great storyteller. He has some really good ideas. And, you know, there's some prospects of him being the head of DC that I'm very excited about. And there's also things that make me pretty worried. But I mean, I guess that's just how it goes when these different companies continue to buy DC. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully this video was fun for you guys. You enjoyed it. And more news will be dropping about this pretty soon, you can be sure. So I will keep my ear to the ground about this. And I hope that it turns out to be true, because I would like to see some more Ben Affleck Batman, personally. Well, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for listening. Keep it locked here for more news on the Dark Knight in movies, TV, video games, and occasionally comics when they don't suck. Later, Gothamites.